Hi, it's Nikki from ChangeFrame here, and I'm talking through specific scenarios where ChangeFrame can add value for people in their life and what they're contemplating and the changes that they're looking to navigate. So today I want to talk about Becky. And Becky was in a job where she was just miserable. So she arrived at ChangeFrame Workshop and we looked at the situation that Becky was in, and it was basically, my job is making me miserable, I need a new job. That was Becky's real why in her mind. So we started out with the ChangeFrame process. So the first thing then with ChangeFrame is, after articulating the real why, we do this process of reflecting forwards. We're looking at, okay, imagine I've arrived at that point, that destination, that outcome I'm ultimately aiming for. What are the things that have stopped and started? What are the things that I'm personally going to stop and start doing? So Becky went through this process. She then mapped all of those stops and starts to a ChangeFrame window, which is one of the key tools that we use in the process. As part of that process, Becky gave a judgment, attached a judgment to each of those outcomes or drivers that she was looking at. So Becky got a little bit of a sense of how she felt about each of those things. The key step in ChangeFrame, after mapping it to the window, is to do the reality check. Now, this is where we have a series of questions where we step through each of the things that people identify through that process, and we do a little bit of a reality check of those things individually. And what we found with a lot of Becky's stops and starts and continues is they were really hitched to anticipated outcomes. I'm going to feel so much better when I get a new job. I'm not going to feel so stressed. I don't have to see my horrible boss every day. So it was hinged a lot to feelings. There was basically nothing in Becky's ChangeFrame window that actually looked at what were the things that she had to do. So when we actually revisited that, part of the reality check, we do a little bit of a review and we actually revisit the real why. And when we unpicked it a little further, what started to become clear for Becky was that she actually really wanted to be going to work every day to a place where she really felt aligned with their values. So working in a company at the time, it was in the mining and gas industry, and Becky really had some quite strong environmental values. So what she was able to realize was that she was working in a place that fundamentally was at odds with what she valued in life and in society. So with that realization, Becky was able to go back to the process and start to get really clear about what kind of job was important to her. Not just any job. Becky didn't really need to be just jumping out of this job into another job in an industry that perhaps wasn't in alignment. She'd find herself in that same situation. So what this provided for Becky was some real clarity around, I want to work for an organisation. I'll start going to work at an organisation where my values are aligned, where I feel inspired by the organisation's purpose. So what this provided for Becky was some real clarity of what she needed to do to get there. Rather than romanticising the anticipated outcomes, she had some very practical steps that she could then take to move towards that goal that she was aiming for. So things like researching the companies that aligned with her values, or even more fundamentally, getting really clear on those values in the first place. So that was something she needed to start doing, was really tapping into that and starting to articulate her own values so that she could then go and search for companies that aligned with or reflected those values. And then, having identified those companies, she would then be in a position to work out how to actually market herself to those companies, where to go to meet people from those companies. So rather than just having a blanket, I need a new job, Becky had real focus of exactly what kind of job it was that she needed. So in doing that, when we moved to the action plan stage of the ChangeFrame process for Becky, it was really simple and straightforward for her. She was able to really clearly identify the specific bite-sized pieces of action that she needed to take to get herself to her outcome, which was, I want to be going to work every day for a company that aligns with my values. So again, this is about developing an action plan to really move you towards what it is that you want to achieve. So in Becky's situation, I'm pleased to say that she was able to find a company that was much more aligned. She actually ended up in the not-for-profit industry. So she's certainly a lot happier in that role. But I encourage you to go and visit my website, nikkiingram.com. I've got a subscribe to my list to get all sorts of news and updates. There's a free ebook available that will step you through the change frame process. If you want to dip your toe in the pool a little bit more, there are workshops that I run. The information is all there on the website. So thank you for your time. Have a great day.